Because that'll give us an idea.
Yeah, like something to go from.
Yeah.
I just fucking uh you
I'm the
said
event
you said okay, Deanna is recording all the good stuff. We have some Roll20 being recorded because there may or may not be a thing. I don't know. We'll see what happens. It's gonna be nice to have open. I don't know. That's on you guys. But we are here. Hi guys, how you doing? Are here. Hi guys. Have my agenda of thing. What agenda of things to talk about? I guess. Which is very good and structured and everything. And we're not just here chilling, but we are pretty much here chilling.
Productive chilling.
I like chilling. Productive chilling. That's good. What did we think about last game?
Oh, do you want feedback and constructive criticism?
Yeah.
What do you like?
Of last episode or the last?
Like overall, I guess this is it's kind of an overall deal, you know. It's kind of an overall
what did
deal,
we
you know.
enjoy the most, and what do we want more in the future, or like what would we want changed for the next arcs, or
Oh.
Zach, you have a list, so why don't we go through the list? So that way it's organized.
All right, fine. Well, the list is kind of like disorganized. But the first thing on the list is fucking Destiny steps. All right, we can talk about Destiny steps first if that's what you want to talk about.
Let's do last game first, I think, because that'll give us an idea.
Yeah, like something to go from.
Yeah.
I just fucking you
I'm
said
the event coordinator now.
you said get the list, and the
I know,
first thing
but
on
the
list
is
It's
not
wrong.
ordered correctly.
All right, smart guy. How tell you you're in charge now.
I mean, it makes sense to go, I think, through what we liked and didn't like for the last game, right?
Okay, sure. Give me some feedback. Tell me a thing or two. I already know I don't like the encounters, but I'll work on that for next time. No, the last encounter I did like. The other ones not so much.
Yeah, honestly, I think the last encounter was really cool. I quite like having more than just let's punch it.
Yeah. I know, because the book was like, oh, let's fucking punch shit, but I also don't think the book was like ready for the Terminator and ready for Annie Oakley and ready for Tomboy and ready for the Black
Terminator.
I did not plan for Cody to be the Terminator, but
anally strong.
Yeah,
I did not plan that going in. It kind of just happened. I'm like, oh, I guess Cody's good at combat.
The Terminator and Annie Oakley is a hell of a Pulp Fiction zine.
I think that maybe for the next time we do like encounters, you could have like a mix of puzzles and like, or like just creative ways to approach it, so that way we don't necessarily just have to punch it like you were saying. Like we could like I know for Deanna's game we had to go up the stairs. It was kind of timed, things like that. There were several things to do.
Yeah, I know. Because I know I talk a lot about how I want a game to run and I want this and that, and then just I did not do any of that this time. So it's like I want to fix that.
I also
difficult. Okay. I don't think it's fair for you to go like, oh, I failed. I think it's like, okay, I had all these lofty plans, and then I found out that actually running those is super difficult for essentially.
In a module in particular,
but I don't think at this scale before, and I think you're doing a great job. You're just learning it's harder than it looks.
Trying to marry a module and customization is incredibly difficult. I think it is more difficult than either running a module or running a custom campaign. I think you've maybe come up against that a little bit. Like I'm really you expressed, and we've all expressed that we're looking forward to maybe integrating Destiny steps more and stuff like that. But I think that's just the result of wanting a custom game, but being like, let's start off with the module and see where we go, and just realizing that we kind of chafe against the walls of the module a little bit, especially with the Terminator and Annie Oakley. So I think be kind to yourself here, because a lot of it's just the natural struggle of you have this pre-made thing. What are you doing with it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. Yes, and I appreciate you guys cutting me some slack. So.
Stop shit talking yourself, dude. We're all in
do what I want.
The collaborative effort.
I will say, like, I feel like if we didn't enjoy the game, we wouldn't keep playing. Like, we're all still here. We really enjoy it. You know, I don't think we would.
Back for a second adventure.
I mean, the last session I fate mastered, I had to have Deanna do math for me. It's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
I sat there for like 1 minute going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 before Deanna saved me from myself.
I want context to this story. I want full story later.
The real context is I have had brain fog for 2 weeks, but the thing is, it's really easy to be hard on yourself when you feel like the whole story is, you know, like gonna be good or not depending on what you do. But it's collaborative, and we've been enjoying it, and if you've been enjoying it, I think that's what really matters.
That's true. I have been enjoying it.
Speaking of collaborative,
and I am super looking forward to Fate Steps.
Yeah, same. I'm really excited to do that.
Speaking of collaborative, I think the times when you felt the most comfortable GMing and the times when sessions I think turned out especially fun were when you were able to kind of work with other people on topics. Because I know I talked with you a little bit about the final combat. I think you talked with Jake also. When you had feedback and were able to work with other people, I know for me, I don't GM anything without talking to somebody else about it before I run it, because things that make a lot of sense in my brain are like, of course they'll do this. Just even talking to somebody else helps a great deal. I think having a writer's room or like a person or two that you regularly talk to could help, even just not necessarily to change your ideas, but to make you more confident and make you feel more comfortable. Like, okay, yes, this does come across the way that I'm planning, or, oh, I didn't think about this. This is an area I might want to focus on more for the thing. I think that might be well for next time.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. I did try to talk to, you know, Jake and Deanna as much as I could and everything. Like I don't want to do like spoilers for Deanna, so I'll be like as vague as possible. But yeah, that's where that is. And yeah, I'll work on that a little bit more in the future, and it would be even better, I assume.
Do you know what else I'd really like to do that we haven't done in ages, but I did on a one-shot recently? I think they called them stars, but just like at the end of an episode being like, I really liked this one thing that you did, and I really liked this one thing that you... I think it's... I don't know, man. Like, I've always felt nothing but good when you do that, but I feel like so often we don't, like, we as a whole, as a TTRPG community, don't. And I don't know why we don't do it more. I forgot about them entirely until a one shot I just did.
Okay, so at the end of the session, just give out little compliments and stars.
Yeah, go around and say like one thing you liked everybody did.
Okay. I'm here for that.
Roses. I think we called them roses before.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
we tend to do that informally, but I think it would be really cool to like just make it a habit for sure after each game.
Because yeah, we do sometimes bring up like, oh, I loved when so and so did this, but it also, I think, okay, I'm like, what's the word? Analyzing too much, but it also like I think keeps it fresh in our own minds as well, like things we liked that people did, where instead of just going, oh, that was neat, and then it's gone, like we're thinking about it and like restating it later. So I don't know, I think it might be fun and just like a good little thing. I don't know. This
I think
just
it
came
helps
out of nowhere.
I think it helps the player too, where it's like, oh, these are the things people noticed that I did. Okay, like
it's true.
I think it also helps get you out of your own head a little bit, because instead of thinking about like, oh, I did this, it's instead going like, oh shit, Tessa did that, and that was really cool, and I like how Zach did that encounter. So you're thinking about other people and engaging with what they're doing a little bit more. It encourages all kinds of good habits. I like it. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
And if we're here for anything, it's good habits like brushing your teeth and giving a star and
make a little like chore board about them. Like
yeah.
I just bought myself a planner. Does that count?
Yeah.
There better be some fucking stars in that planner, or
yeah, it's like, okay, so brush your teeth, get stars, write in your planner. What else?
Wipe after using the bathroom.
Wipe after using the bathroom.
Is that is that a habit? Like, do you have to build that?
According to Zach, yes, which is deeply concerning.
So I know that there's some. I don't know how our event planner is planning to parcel out this event, but I know that there's some like very storytelling, character-focused stuff that I have questions about, like, hey, how do you see your story unfolding and stuff like that? But do we want to stay with broader logistical stuff first? I don't know what are our plans.
I think we should go through something everybody liked of the last game specifically, and then what we want to see in the future one. Like, so maybe something we didn't see, if there is something. And then we can, moving into the character stuff, I think that'll be... What do you think, Zach?
That sounds good. I like it. I'm gonna be taking notes.
Pinpointed my didn'ts already, which is just one that we were already super aware of and super excited for going forward, which is fate. Steps? That's the word. My intellect right now is, and also the stars. So those are my wishes for next game.
I know one thing I personally really enjoyed is, I know we a little bit bug Zach with it every now and again, but how often we actually got to just interact as four morons trying to deal with shit, and we got to have little group discussions and scenes. And I don't think Brody was intended to be the group bully victim and then to be a loved party member, but here we are.
Okay, interact as four morons more often. I'm writing that down.
That was really fun to do.
Gotcha.
I do have things I liked. I was gonna say Hutch, but I think that doesn't accurately distill what I liked about Hutch. I think that you as a Fate Master, Zach, showed a lot of different sides to things very well. And I think that, at least I know for Dorothy, this was like formative. Because like, and I'm not spoiling much when I say there was a period of time after meeting Hutch separate of everyone else and seeing him do the right thing and be a reasonable person with power to protect people, that Dorothy was like, maybe the guild. And then later on, when she saw that even someone who she thinks has pretty decent morals still has to bow to the bureaucracy of the guild in most situations, like, put a lens up for her that she wouldn't have had otherwise, and kind of solidified her opinions on that side of things, whereas before she had only had opinions on like the other side of things. So I really like that. I think there's been a relatively sane and realistic viewpoint of most of both sides going forward. I mean, you still have your villains that are just doolally, but then you have a lot of other ones, people who could be villains or not, depending on what you see and what you think. And I really appreciate that about the campaign.
Okay, I like that, because that's one thing I really like about Malifaux in general, is like the factions aren't good and bad. There's like good and bad people inside of each faction. Like even the Resurrectionists is like, oh, there's necromancers, of course they're bad. Like, yeah, Seamus is a very bad guy, but Molly's
just gonna vibe in.
Yeah, well, she's taking care of all the fucking forgotten creatures too. You know, she's doing a lot of that action.
And murdered an awful lot of people.
Well, that too, but who hasn't really?
That's
just Malifaux.
That's just Malifaux. But yeah, no, I just want to like give kudos for that, but also say like, you know, that's something I'd love to continue to see. I think just your, I think your storytelling is naturally going to lean to that, so I wouldn't worry about trying too hard to be like, ooh, I have to show off more sides of people. But I just want to be like, bing, this is a thing I liked, and I think it will. I don't, yeah. I'm just trying to say, like, don't bend over backward to try and put that in, because you're already putting it in. It's already great. So, just something I'm enjoying.
Well, thank you for the star.
I think from a very similar point of view, where it's just a way that the game is not something that I think you have to worry about or think about. Oh, I have to do this more. Try to figure out how to put this. Malifaux is a very upsetting setting. Like, things kind of suck a lot of the time, and I think you did a really good job making it worth living in anyway, where it feels like, even though Sutton is going through her thing of like, oh no, I couldn't save everybody, it felt like we were able to affect change, and there's things we could do and people that we could save and protect, even while existing within this shitty world, and that the people who inhabited it, while many of them do awful things or do things that might be not according to our morals, they're not evil people. They're just existing within a system, and they have their own points of view. I really like, you did a great job making it very neutral, I guess, aligned, where it's a difficult world, but it's not like, and here are the big dark evil people, here they come. I liked that a lot. I liked many of the I'm gonna think about Garot forever. I know she's probably dead, but I'm gonna pine for the butch lesbian forever. And I do like Mr. Marshall Bill a lot. Aren't you glad there's at least one person who does call him Marshall Hutch? But it's not me.
Mr. Marshall Bill just kind of like stuck to everybody, and it's like, oh, come on, guys.
That's his name now.
Yeah.
He calls him Hutch at least.
Mr.
I'm
Hutch.
looking forward to. I do think the things that we did in this arc, like there's still plenty that was uncovered but not fully understood in this arc, I guess, that I think we'll still see throughout whatever next arcs we do. Like, Mr. Blank was doing some crazy ass shit that I'm sure could be looked into more. That mine was a guy. That was a guy, and I don't think we really learned much about why that mine was a guy.
You're just like, yeah, that's fine.
To know. It didn't seem to be actually connected to the mystery, so
seemed to be a separate mystery.
Very weird. Yeah, I want to know more about that.
Why are we in the sweat?
It also didn't seem to be black blood, which was like, okay, it's a whole Nephilim thing.
Malifaux is a weird place, man.
Malifaux is super weird.
Unsettling.
I like that. I think it was really cool.
Yeah, no, I think it's very cool, and I demand answers.
Yeah, sometimes the grass screams at you, and you just have to sit there and live with that.
Yeah, and now we've got Little Justice.
We did Little Justice.
Oh,
there are a lot of pets.
You say yes to us so often. I appreciate that you were like, yeah, you can have Little Justice.
I feel especially if it's not gonna fucking wreck anything, you know, why just let, you know, have some fun once in a while, you know, who cares?
So that's my monologue. That's my star.
Yeah. Just before I do completely forget, I mean, can I say one thing I'd like to kind of request? If that's cool with people?
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
So, like, obviously you mentioned it in combat, like, having more other things to do rather than just fighting.
Yeah.
One thing I, as a person, tend to absolutely love is, like, environmental hazards and environmental play in combat. I would love if no, I don't think it needs to be in every fight, but I would love if that shows up sometimes. Just thought I'd bring it up because I'd forget if I didn't.
Yeah, especially because if I know Sutton on the Pioneer track has
all kinds of stuff about terrain.
Yeah, it's all kinds of stuff about it. So I want more things that highlight your guys' abilities. And I love gimmicks when players have like gimmicks, and I feel like this system especially makes gimmicks shine, I guess. So I really want to do that.
Especially with the Destiny step system. Like if you're doing an episode where we're going through Dodie's Destiny step, given the opportunity to get some real cool shooting and like enemies are super far away or something that gets, or like we have to do performance, something that highlights a specific aspect, it's a great opportunity to build specific encounters around it.
That's the other thing I really like about the system is like there's 50 some odd skills and not all of them are super useful, but if you like really invest in it, you know, nobody else is going to invest in your same skill, you know, that you're really interested in using.
I think that is one thing I liked about the Mr. Blank encounter was that we could do other things like to stop him from doing the ritual, to delay him. I would say in the future when you're designing those encounters, if there's going to be like other things we do, I would personally recommend you play with the map distance a little, because the one that always pops up for me that I was a little like just disappointed in was the encounter where we found Esther. And I spent my entire movement action getting to the guy who was gonna die, and like I didn't know, and that's fine, like but I didn't know that, and by the time I got there everything was done, and like I hadn't really done much, you know what I mean? So I don't know if there's a way to kind of communicate like from the wounds it looks like he is unsavable, but you know, like, or something, because I was like, oh, I'm gonna save this guy, and I get there and it's like, okay, he's dead and now everything is done. Like I didn't really feel like I accomplished much. So like if you want there to be like other things we can do around, make sure it doesn't take us 3 rounds to get to that thing, you know what I mean? So that way we're at least doing things and not just moving, you know what I mean? Because I think that's one of the struggles with this, is that we don't get to really move that much during each round. And so if we don't really have a lot of ranged things to do, it's not as exciting to just like spend your whole thing running, you know, for 3 rounds or whatever.
Yeah. I like looking back on that, I probably should have given you some kind of opportunity to save him. I know the book says, oh, this guy fucking dies. But I probably should have done something.
It's a learning thing though. That was just one thing that popped out to me. But like, as far as the positive things, this is, I think, my first Through the Breach game, like in the world at all. And obviously I've heard a lot about it through multiple people, but I really love in this particular game how we honed in on Ridley. Like it felt like we were residents of Ridley. It didn't feel too big of a game, because Malifaux, I think, can be very intimidating. There's a lot going on at all times, and you didn't throw too much at us from different angles. It was like, we are residents of Ridley and this is what we're doing in Ridley, and we did leave Ridley too, but I'm excited to actually see more of the world too. I think you did a good job world building. Like everybody felt pretty real, the problems felt real. I'm excited to see more. I want to go to Malifaux City. I want to go to the Bayou. It's like all things that I'm excited to see. But I'm also glad we got to establish ourselves as characters in this world before we moved on to bigger things in the world itself.
So a statement jumping off that, and then a question, if that's okay. So first, I think these things all really tie together, of like the NPCs feeling real and like real people. I feel it's because they're so well integrated into the world. Like the way that they are seems like, oh, she's an alcoholic on the streets, because what the fuck else are you gonna do in Ridley? Like, it's everybody exists within the setting in a really cool way. I think that's great. And then the question is, do we want to stay in Ridley for a while in the next arcs? Like, do we want to get through a certain number of Destiny steps before going out into the world, or do we want to hit the ground running? Like, do we want to stay in no man's land, or?
I think there should be a reason we leave, right? Like, I don't think, but I don't mind staying, but I am honestly excited to see other stuff too. But I
then
think we should
like-
always come back.
Okay, because like a lot of the episodes, I think based on what Zach has told me, are more episodic, where we'll go on an adventure and then we'll come back. But I feel like for something like if we're going to Malifaux City, it would be nice to spend several sessions there so that we actually get a chance to see it.
Oh yeah.
But that would be more like a whole arc unto itself.
But I
Yeah.
feel like the boarding house is such an essential space for our characters in the game. Like we can't just leave and then that's never, returned to again. Just because there's a lot.
Headquarters.
Yeah.
And yeah,
I don't think that. Oh, sorry, guys.
No, you go first. I want to see.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I don't think that means that we necessarily have to always come back at the end of almost every episode. I just think that for our characters to know that that's there waiting for them is a big important thing, if that makes sense. Like they've always got a place to go home to. Hopefully. I'm sure nothing bad will ever happen to the Blackbird boarding house.
That's perfectly fine forever. Shiloh's gonna do nothing wrong ever again.
Well, that was like our first question, and like when everything's getting bombed, we're like, what about the boarding house?
I know it was kind of like, oh, the fate of Ridley and the fate of the boarding house was kind of like up in the air. And yeah, if you guys had failed that encounter, shit would have gone down, and we would have had to just decide, how desecrated is the city, what happens next, things like that. We still got to kind of do that anyway. But
I do think you did a good job not being like, well, this is what the book says, so this is what we have to do. Like you kind of looked at our characters and everything, and it was like, okay, well, let's change things up a little.
Yeah, because like the book, because the book goes on to book 2, and it's like at the end of this book, shit's bad no matter what happens, and I know like we want to go play Destiny steps. We don't want to be stuck in the book forever. So I'm like, all right, I gotta fix this. I got a lot of help from Jake and everything. But I gotta fix this. We got to make this end satisfyingly and make it end where it doesn't have to continue, but we can save the day and we can, move on, I guess. It doesn't have to be so depressing with everybody dying, yeah. But what I wanted to say before that was, I like a more episodic game, and like we'll have like maybe 2 episodes focused on like the adventure, and then like an episode of downtime, talk about the adventure, maybe do whatever you guys want to do. But I'm not gonna be like tracking your money to travel to get back to Ridley. It's I'm not gonna be doing that. So if you guys
that always bring us back to Ridley, and they are the donkeys that definitely survived when I left them next to the exploding train.
Well, we'll see what happens with that, but we'll if there's scenes to have happen anywhere you want, we can go and have those scenes. Is kind of what I'm getting at. The only time because I do want to track money and stuff. Because like buying ammunition, that's the trade-off of not using a melee weapon. You're not going to be in combat. You're not going to be hit so often, but you have to deal with this. It's another trade-off, and I like that. But
how do we feel about the money? Oh, I'll bring this up later if you have more to say, but I'm just curious about how we plan to. Are we dividing it between us? Like, how does that?
I think that's up to you.
Continue, Zach.
Oh yeah, Zach, finish your thought, and then
I didn't want to interrupt.
Just that, episodic game. Scenes will happen wherever they want to happen. Anything that happens in downtime is kind of not super strict. It's for storytelling purposes. As long as you don't like break things too much, it's for storytelling purposes. Is how I would like to think of it. I will. I don't want to make promises right now, but I would like to think of it like that.
You gotta
Okay.
get more money. I know the module was like, you don't get any money, you get no
Yeah.
loot. I want money, I want loot. Give us the fat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it.
Especially because Ridley specifically has a feat centered around when you get money, you get X, Y, and Z, and I don't think it ever went off.
And that's what. No, I don't think so. We never came across money. I mean,
Yeah, I know.
every now and again. That's why I wanted to bring that up, because I, as a player, honestly would love to share everything, and I don't want to come across as greedy. But Ridley is trying to like stow away money, so I kind of wanted to figure out what's narrative money and what's like money we can actually spend. Because obviously, I don't want to like hoard it. Ridley doesn't need all that money for himself for that reason, but he is gambling because he's going for a money goal. So
I personally like the system where there is some kind of communal pot that when a character comes across money, they can either choose to put it in that pot or keep it for themselves. And then when there's a shopping thing, it can go like, if you personally don't have that in whatever you decided to keep for yourself, then just bring it up to the party. Like, I think characters like Sutton are very unlikely to keep personal money, whereas Ridley is more likely to want and need personal money. So that's really up to the individual.
As Codoni, I keep like a little bit because I need it to repair myself.
Mm-hmm.
It costs money to fix me.
mm-hmm.
Do we want to nominate someone to be the treasurer of group funds? We don't have group funds.
Codoni?
Codoni is good at maths.
Okay. Well, Tessa as a player, do you want to be the treasurer?
I'm happy to. I don't mind.
Okay.
That's a reasonable question.
I guess the other thing I wanted to address is, Danny does have that feat or that talent where you do get, like a bonus 20% money. Where I was coming from was like, okay, if you get money and you split that money up evenly, whatever money Danny gets will be increased by 20%, not like 20% for the party. You know what I mean?
Danny's character is the one to find or receive money, they will get 20% more. But if it's
so
like,
I'm gambling and I get a certain pot, it's 20% more of that sum.
Yeah, but if it's like, oh, we're all getting paid by the guild, then only Danny's amount would be raised by that much.
Right.
If it's Danny found money in this guy's pocket, it's not like, okay, divide by 4 and then take that quarter and then up it by 20%. It's
that's actually be a bitch
Danny
to do.
just finds more money. That's the feat.
Yeah, I think that anytime Ridley is the one receiving the money, it's upped. But anytime it's like Ridley receiving the money by proxy, like if we're all being paid or if it's going into the group pot or whatever, it's not. I think that makes sense.
Okay.
So without spoiling too much, Zach, I guess I want to ask, like, and we've had this conversation before, but I just want to like establish, is there going to be a narrative time where Ridley comes across a large sum that I put away narratively for a specific goal, or am I supposed to, every time we get money, put that aside and keep counting it up and up and up? Does that make sense?
It makes sense.
So I don't know if I've explained it to everybody, but Ridley is trying to save money. You know the little box he keeps like in a floorboat? He's trying to save money for Brody's release from the mines. Like, that's why he's been putting aside all this money. So I guess I'm just trying to figure out, like, is there going to be a time in the game that we come across where it's like, oh, like this is specifically for this task, or is it my job to keep saving gradually throughout the game?
It's going to be, you know what, fuck it, you want this so bad, fuck it, there's gonna be a number and it'll be, what did I say 1,000 script, I think. It's gonna be.
What did Brody do to be indentured to the mines? Because that's not just he works for them. I
know, it's a
did
lot.
Did Brody kill someone back Earthside?
No. It'll be okay. I'm gonna say this right here.
Bread.
150 script.
Okay.
And that
100. Write that number down.
150, and I'm gradually saving for it, right?
Yeah, and you'll gradually save for it, and because I haven't written anything down yet. I got rough ideas for things, but I don't have a plot quite yet. So it's like, well,
I do think also that the offer of money is going to be a temptation narratively for Ridley for a while.
Yeah.
Like if we
Absolutely.
do have people knocking at our doors like, hey, you guys want 10 script each? It's like, that's yes,
Yeah.
we do. Thank you.
Yeah.
Ridley is already getting pretty money hungry, so I mean it'll be a thing that I think escalates throughout, but that at least I have a number now, and now I can have a thing, and it's like I still would love to obviously share everything. Ridley has 13 script right now. I mean, so if anybody needs any, I don't mind, but I'm just like not sure how long.
I think right now the money that the characters have is all individual money. I think
It is.
starting in the next arc, we can start having a pool if we can.
Okay.
Characters continue
I think
working together.
Cordoni has about 3 script left because I've spent a lot of it healing myself.
Yeah.
Because that is one thing Ridley can contribute to the party. He's a good gambler. He can bring in money, you know,
Yeah.
if we need it.
Yeah.
I have 3.5 script.
Cordoni also has like a huge soft spot for Ridley, so if Ridley ever needed money and Cordoni had it, Cordoni will just hand it to them immediately.
It's like, Cordoni, do you have 150 script I can borrow?
Like, because Cordoni originally had, I think, like 8 at the end of the stream, and then I give 5 of it to Shiloh as a leave Ridley the fuck alone.
Okay. Zach and I were talking the other day about Shiloh and who he is and how he has a lovable soul and all that kind of thing.
Does he?
Funny. That money's not gonna go towards the debt. Why'd you hand him money directly?
Because Cordoni is the one that keeps all the contracts, and Ridley's just off the debt now. Cordoni's going to make sure of it. It's a shut the fuck up Shiloh money.
Shiloh's very clever too, though. So
yeah, but Cordoni's the one that keeps all of his books.
Shiloh
and knows all the sketchy shit he does.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Just talking about all these neutral characters, he's not evil.
Yeah,
He's sketch as fuck.
Well, because Shiloh, he's Sutton had that fucking scene, right before they left Ridley. Sutton had that scene with Shiloh, and it's like, oh, Shiloh gave control of the boarding house to Sutton, gave the rights to Cordoni to Sutton, and blah blah. And kind of he had not a change of heart, but it's like he's not all 100% bad. And then you go out and you find out this other stuff that Shiloh did, like in the past, that is kind of terrible. So it's like, it's still not great, but he's not
a complicated
all bad.
guy. He's a con man. Like, that's just who he is.
Deanna's not happy.
No, I'm just, don't call him a con man. That's my little brother.
He's a fucking con man.
Oh.
He's a con man.
Charlatan. Charlatan and a scoundrel.
That's why we like him. He's not an interesting character if he's not.
No, you are right. Just the Sutton in me is saying, don't talk about him like that.
He's not like that. I mean, he does. He's not dead, so he certainly does.
Don't even talk about him being dead.
Okay, so we went over money. Oh, I wanted to ask too. So we were discussing it a little bit as far as because I think this is gonna come up in conversation. As far as the lethal stuff in battle, can we always choose for it to be non-lethal? But how does that work?
I kind of wanted to, because here's the other thing I wanted to kind of bring up, I guess, is we are going to get into Destiny steps, and something that comes with Destiny steps is manifested powers and making your own abilities and stuff. I think I might have to be a little bit more stricter with things, because if you make a manifested power to break the rules of the game, if I say yes to a lot of things, then are the manifested powers that cool, I guess, or maybe you might just have to make them more cooler? How do you guys feel about that? What are your thoughts on that matter, I guess?
So you're saying that non-lethal damage is not rules as written. Is that
okay. So the way the book reads, if you knock a mook to 0 HP, they fail their toughness check and they go unconscious. So you're not killing anybody. and you have to like actually make the decision outside of combat to kill somebody. If you're fighting somebody who's not a mook, then you have to do those flip over the cards, do wounds, do track, that sort of stuff. Critical effects. So you didn't kill George Blank, but you could have, but we just flipped over cards where the fight was effectively over.
So would you like us to explicitly state, because I think this will be a thing that we have to do in the future, like, I would like to kill this person, or I would not like to kill it.
I am sawing a hole through his chest is a pretty explicit. I am killing.
Cordoni usually is pretty lethal.
Okay. Well, but it gets iffy, right? Because again, some of us have guns and some of us don't, and like,
yeah,
maybe you don't want to kill.
Early on in the game, I would need to go back and watch the episodes, but I'm pretty sure you said things like guns can't do non-lethal damage, and I don't know
on the
if
weapon.
we're still holding to that.
Well, I think once or twice I tried to say something along the lines of like I tried to shoot him in a place where it's less likely to kill him or something like that. But I've personally just been operating under that. Well, okay. So I guess there's the question here is that if you're trying to immediately say, because obviously if they drop below 0 and you're making flips for injuries if they're a serious character, right? There's a chance you could absolutely decimate that person. So I guess then the real question is if we're saying, "Ooh, I'm trying to hit him, but for not lethal," is what we're trying to avoid those flips after they drop to 0. And if that's the case, is that something we want to explore being a ability? So that's just kind of the train of thought that's coming from me off of this.
Yeah, because I mean, I guess for me, it's just a matter of like, there's a limitation to what you can use. Especially if we're delving into things like morality and approaching that, it's like, okay, all of my soldiers have guns, all of them, and they're all going to be children, right? So I don't want an army of evil gun-bearing children, but those are the tools that are given to me through that mechanic, right?
They won't be evil, they'll just be traumatized.
You could have them with like crossbows instead if you want.
But do you get what I'm saying? Well, crossbows are.
I know it's
I'm
not
being
bad.
punished because aren't crossbows a lot like weaker than?
No, actually. They
crossbows are pretty good. Yeah.
They are significantly longer range, cheaper, but tend to do a little bit less damage.
Maybe we can talk about that then, because like, yeah, I don't want to, like, that's just the tools for the thing that's given as a commander, right? So it's like, I don't want to paint this as like, and like I imagine with Dodie, like I don't think she'd go around just slaughtering everybody, but she's a gunslinger, like.
Narratively, for Ridley, I think it is also potentially possible, depending on what you and Zach want out of this, that his followers don't necessarily always have to be children. As he begins to establish himself more, just because he's a child doesn't mean that there aren't going to be teens and adults that go, yeah, this little kid gets it, and follows him into battle. So that's also a very that's a tweak we could make narratively as well.
Okay, that's just like, I guess my perspective is like, how are we going to navigate this?
So are we then pretty decisive that with mooks, it's always non-lethal until they are unconscious, and then you have to make a choice whether or not to kill them. Like, there's no way to accidentally kill a mook.
Yeah.
And then with larger characters, we're thinking maybe it has to be an ability to be able to non-lethally, to be able to circumvent a lethal critical effect or something like that. Would have to be a manifested power or something like that. Yeah, what's up?
I have a thought. It's right on this. It's on this lane anyway. But like the same way that I have an ability that keeps me from randomizing into firing into engagement, there could be an ability that removes the first or second or first and second injury flip from a character, something like that. Because I think, and I could be wrong, but I think that if you personally, your character, are like, I'm trying not to kill this person, I'm using my ability, which says that I ignore the first flip or the first and second flip on injury, and you down them and you ignore that first flip or that first and second flip or whatever, it would take someone else hitting them again or more to override that, so then you know other people are, not that I want this necessarily kind of in our party comp, but like other people are able to decide whether or not they're going for lethal or non-lethal. But I think it might be useful, and then I don't see why from a narrative perspective, I don't see why we wouldn't just say, yeah, I mean, if you're downing someone, you're downing them. You haven't killed them, but they might die eventually. They might, I mean, as far as like, you know, non-mega character, like just mooks as we've been calling them. You know, they might die of blood loss if you're not, you know, you're not going to do anything about it, but at that exact moment they're not necessarily dead. They could be dying, like realistically speaking, but then it's your choice. You can choose to heal them, for example, but you can also choose to just, you know, throat punch them and be done with it. And that's kind of the dichotomy there. But I wonder if I think it wouldn't be too OP to have an ability that negates like the first injury flip on someone.
But I guess the other thing is it takes a lot to kill somebody, you know, because we have to go through all the fucking critical effects. There will be points where I guess if they're down to where this is an issue, you know, because I don't want things to be a slog either. If the fight is effectively over, you know, if the fight's effectively over, we'll, you know, find a reason, you know. But if you do want to like keep firing at somebody until they're dead, then that's something else. Because I guess the big thing is the mooks, you know, because it's like we're getting into soul stones now. I don't want soul stones to become super powerful, because you can do a lot of things with soul stones, especially when you have manifested powers and spell like manifested powers and blah blah.
Okay. You're thinking more like a mechanical side. Like,
yeah.
I don't want you guys with like 50 soul stones. I was thinking more just narratively, like as far as death should be purposeful versus going through and plowing through people.
Because I know, on a narrative of, it's one thing that I like about Malifaux as a system as opposed to D&D is that you don't always have to kill things in Malifaux, so that deaths feel a little weightier. And I also, Tess, you and I will talk about it eventually. I hope that you're excited for the storyline, because I think it's fun.
Oh, I am. I'm really excited to have that.
Obviously, Sutton and Cordoni come down on very different sides of the is killing mooks okay side of things. So
yeah, Cordoni's not let's just murder someone, but also you guys matter more than that guy's life.
Yes. Yeah. Which is a conversation we will have in character that I'm excited about. But that means that mechanically there has to be some mechanical background to it so that it's not us poking at like, well, technically, you know.
Yeah.
All right, CJ, say your thing, and I'm going to say something that might shatter everything. So
I think ultimately I wouldn't be opposed to minion, you know, mooks, that being narrative. So if not mentioned, we're assuming that they were at least fine when we left them. Maybe they did leave, we don't know, but they're at least fine when we left them. But Zach having the power to say this person died or is dying, us having the power to say, hey, I want to power my soul stone, so I slit his throat. Like, I think and the thing is, that's a really big decision to be making as well. It is big narratively. I don't think any one of the four of us are just gonna like, if we go off the rails and just start murdering everyone so we can power soulstone, multiple somebodies potentially are going to have something to say about it. So I think there's a story element that keeps that in check. And I think leaving that up for interpretation is good, but also saying, okay, if the default is they're unconscious, but we can kill them, and also Zach, you can kill them, then that's probably the best. In my opinion, I think that's a pretty good way to approach that.
I like the idea to prevent soul stones from getting too just like silly powerful. I think operating by the Uno principle, that unless you say, I kill this guy and the soul goes into my soul stone, the soul stone doesn't go. It has to be highlighted that it is happening instead of just.
I would agree, yeah.
Hold up. Let me shatter your worldview real fast. This last fucking the last encounter, it was on a timer. It's like you have to stop him long enough for him to stop the ritual. Killing him wasn't the goal. Keeping him busy was. So if you had kept him busy long enough, I wasn't going to be like, oh, the fight's still going on. No, the fight, you did your objective. The fight effectively would have been over. So we're going to talk about what happens next. We're not going to, we're not going to keep this going longer than it has to, you know? So it's like, oh, you guys can kill him. Oh, you guys cannot kill him. Whatever. We're telling a group story at that point. So, killing, it goes on, the critical effects table goes on long enough as we need it to, you know, is the thing. So
I like the idea though of like the mooks being narrative, because it really does say something when somebody chooses to do that versus not. Like, and that's really why we're here, right? To tell like really pointed, purposeful stories like that, you know, because there might be a time one of our characters decides to do that. That's kind of why I like Cordoni's.
You're very targeted by that comment.
Well, Danny and I were just talking about this because Danny was like, "Oh, I don't remember that." I was like, "Sutton remembers," because there was a moment in that fight where Sutton was holding a guy up against the wall, saying, "You gotta hold on to it, man. Everything's gonna be okay. We're gonna get you out of this." And then Cordoni comes in with a bat through the chest.
Yeah,
and it's so clearly "Are we gonna kill the mook?" moment.
But Cordoni's always also the one that stayed behind to heal everybody for that group. So there's a huge contrast. It's an interesting thing that I think should be explored more, of what life does Cordoni find valuable versus not, right? Like, that's gonna
directly, are they currently a threat to you guys?
All right, okay. So if you guys want to not blow a turn, but if you want narratively coup de grace, you use your action to coup de grace a guy, that's something different. That is
the game rule.
Yeah, but I think that's something that can only happen in narrative time, but I'll give it to you.
You actually can do it in combat.
Can you do it in combat?
Yeah. You can coup de grace when combat takes an action. If you attack someone unconscious, they die. That's the rule.
I feel like... Okay.
That was the whole issue.
Yeah, because that was an issue before, but I want to double check that one. But
double checking, but I'm pretty sure you can.
Okay.
No, that's one of the premises of one of the modules.
Anyway, if you guys want a coup de grace move to make a point, fine.
A narrative point.
A narrative point.
There's also the both mechanical and narrative aspects of Cordoni needs people to die around them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which
really fucking sucks.
Enough in Malifaux, but
Cordoni needs that.
Yeah, and that happens enough. But there, like, between adventures, you can hang out outside of a hospital for long enough.
That's what people do.
I was gonna say just chilling at the morgue, like, well, not the morgue's already dead, but
happens in Malifaux. Basically, hospitals and retirement homes have soulstone recharging stations set up that people can go and charge their soulstones.
Just thinking about Grandma just sitting there looking at the soulstone, going like, "Well, can't
please all be recycled.
It's gonna be a battery."
That is the canonical law of what happens in hospitals and stuff. There are soulstone recharging factories. Could only would about once a week go to a hospital, pay a fee, and watch someone die.
It's so sad. Does she at least ask for their life story?
No.
There's just
she stands there like this.
There's out of the room.
Johnny had turns themselves off vaguely.
It's so scary. Just a robot like there in the shadowy corner.
There's also guild machines there. There is like full-on guild machines with guns and like the hunters, which are basically tiger-looking things.
Got like a warden in there, just like
disturbing.
It's really fucked up.
They're animated.
Cordoni's like, rest assured, your death will serve a purpose.
I fixed a piano this week.
Fucking Malifaux.
What's?
Oh,
go ahead.
Anyway, no, you got something to say? I was about to move on.
What's next on the agenda?
Well, in that case, we can talk about the fucking Destiny steps real fast. Unless we got something else to say.
I had just I don't know if we want to do it all in the same room or not, but I think it would be worthwhile for conversations to be had amongst each other and with Zach, one-on-one, whatever, about kind of where you see your character story going and what you want to explore and things you're excited to see and do. Not necessarily here's what I want all my destiny steps to be, but like here's kind of the story I want to tell with this character so we can all tell it together. I don't know if people have specific ideas of I definitely want to do this. I know Danny has been very clear about wanting a guild boyfriend.
Okay, go ahead.
After you.
Tess, real fast.
Yeah.
Real fast. During narrative time, a character with a ready weapon can perform a coup de grace to automatically kill an unconscious character within 1 yard.
Thank you.
That is, yeah. But if you guys want to make the point, and you can coup de grace an unconscious mook in and use your action to do that. But yeah. Anyway, tell me more about fucking boyfriend.
No, it's Cordoni's turn first, is it? Or are we?
No, I want to hear about the guild boyfriend. I'll go after.
I just want a romance, okay? That's all I said. I was like,
worst possible.
I want there to be romance, and I want there to be conflict with the romance, because I think that would be fun. So that's why I had pitched maybe somebody whose like father or whatever parent is within the guild, because then there has to be things that Ridley has to keep secret. And then if does reveal, possibly things happen. So I just think that would be a fun way to do that. So other than that, I mean, with Ridley, I want him to be able to obviously continue wrestling with his identity and being like, what does this mean for me? Like, how can I progress and not become a monster? Because in the last game, like, he saw what he was supposed to become, and he doesn't want to become that. He wants to stay normal. He wants to stay he doesn't want what he saw, basically. So it'll be a fun little, I think, journey of whether he kind of falls into that because people expect it from him, or if he tries to fight against it.
It's also a big question for telling Ridley stories that'll affect all the stories is this coming campaign going over several years? How old is Ridley gonna get? Or is this happening all while he's still 10 to 12 years old?
Yeah.
We did agree to have like a bit of a time skip. So that's the other thing we were going to talk about is how long is this time skip that we want to talk about and everything?
I don't feel like a significant time skip has to happen. Honestly, I just think there's like there's like a huge difference between 10 and 12. Like there's a lot of like puberty and like things that happen between that age. I'm willing to work with whatever. I just think there's a huge difference between being 10 and being 12 versus whatever. But we can figure that out.
Honestly, I wanted to pitch almost like little 4 adventure arcs almost, where everybody gets through a destiny step, and that's a little arc and season in and of itself, and then we have a little break and a little time jump or whatever, and then we have another set of destiny steps or whatever, and that also lets us go like, if people want to go on vacation or like do something where they're not available. Yeah. And then that would also let Ridley get older.
But people are players or characters?
Yes.
Both, I guess. I bet it's
Vacation in Malifaux?
Have a break. But what did you say?
What, vacation in Malifaux? Are you for real?
Malifaux, you can go to
You can go outside for a little
Malifaux City.
Yeah, you can go to the Star Theater.
Okay.
Yeah, one thing that I think, honestly, Deanna's probably going to really quickly fucking enable, as one thing I kind of wrote into Cordoni as a character, which I've tried to show. As much as Cordoni says they are an automaton, they do not have emotions, Cordoni's real fucking emotional. Like, all the goddamn time. Cordoni is a hypocrite. A big reason for that is, if any of the guild, Martin's Union, or anyone in any position of authority knew they were a hypocrite, Cordoni would be killed. Immediately. It is illegal for Cordoni to exist. So Cordoni has to have that. I am owned by Sutton. I do not get a say. But kind of wrestles with that desire to also, be a person. Or at least a semblance of what they used to be. And I think it'd be really fun with Sutton very quickly probably going to force that when Sutton decides to talk to Cordoni again.
Do you also want to Are we going to be exploring more themes of the Cult of December or like the Mother of Robots? What are like major faction-y things that you want to approach?
Yeah, I would love. Like again, I don't think the Cult of December is a huge part of Konami now. That's kind of the point of they don't remember any of their past. I'm happy to explore that. The Destiny steps definitely do imply some Cult of December shit. They can definitely go down that route. We definitely could have like some of Konami's past come back to haunt them a little bit, and that'd be really fun as Konami does not remember it, or them getting memories of it. That'd be cool. But I think one of the goals they would love to have is they would love to go. I can't remember what the hell the town's called off the top of my head, but there is a town full of basically forgotten machines with like Neverborn tech and shit.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be really cool for Konami to visit. And Konami realize they're not alone, because currently Konami thinks they are alone in this.
What? There's a place of forgotten machines? I had no idea.
Yeah.
Island of Forgotten Toys.
Or hell. I don't know exactly.
Or hell.
No, I don't know exactly what time zone Zach's thinking of setting this. Is it post Burning Man?
I don't know, man. Time is whatever you want it to be.
Because if it's pre-Burning Man, there's a certain puppeteer that has the whole sentient automata vibe going. I would love to meet, or at least meet one of his contraptions. That'd be fucking dope. I think that exploration would be kind of cool, of having that, what is a soul, for Konami.
Okay, interesting. Ooh, I got an idea that I'm gonna write down. Keep on talking, guys. I'm just gonna write down an idea.
Dorothy Rose.
Like, I've got a million different ideas, but I don't want to take up the entire time. So
I want to progress my trading card game. That's one of my big goals, actually, is to complete my collection.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
I think.
Also,
sorry, go ahead.
Just a quick side note, Zach. What we discussed earlier on Facebook, Fate Step 3 fits really fucking well for that. Please continue.
Okay. Interesting. That's all well and good. Fate Step 3. Okay, so who else wants to talk about shit? Because I gotta look at Fate Step 3.
Yeah. CJ, please.
CJ almost got a sentence out.
Okay. No, I think that. So, I love the idea of this campaign being set over longer and longer periods of time as we go forward. I think I'd really support that. I think there's probably some things in the sooner ones that Dorothy needs to figure out, like what the hell is going on with her parents, which I don't know, which is really exciting. But something is happening, and I think I don't know. So there needs to be some resolution to that, probably before like 2 years. But I think if we do like a little arc, and 8 months pass in a little arc, and then 6 months pass in a little arc, and that's a good way to like really push time forward, which would give Ridley the autonomy to be a teenager at least instead of a small murdering child.
With other murdering children? Jesus.
But yeah, I think I'm really interested to see how the necromancy stuff pans out for Dorothy. Because I think, like, I kind of hinted at the very end of last episode, not hinted makes it sound like it was a big secret, but she kind of said, like, she's happy at the boarding house. And the cool thing is, if we're always going back to the boarding house, technically she's still at the boarding house. But yeah, she's not going to necessarily get to just like retire and live a nice quiet life at the boarding house. So I'm really excited to see what like goes forward from that. But there's definitely some like strings in Dorothy's plot that we can still pull on, and she's concerned about like, what the hell is going on with my parents and are they okay? So that's a big thing for her.
Makes sense. Okay. So what the hell is going on with their parents? What the, how's necromancy?
I'd give it, you didn't bring it up, but I want to know what the fuck happened to your fiance. I would like answers to that, please.
Yeah, Sam.
Well, she's not worried about that. No, she would also like. She's assuming he's clearly dead, but like all of the stuff. The thing is that she came how do I put it? Hutch came for her because she's suspected of murder. If I'm remembering all this right, she's suspected of murder as a necromancer or something like that. Yeah. But then when he dropped something like your parents are necromancers or something, and so she's just like, well, clearly we've cleared my name, but we haven't cleared my parents being necromancers yet. And also, I'm a necromancer, so that's fun. So she's kind of having a little bit of an existential crisis because she definitely did not think that she was a necromancer.
Are you interested in engaging, like, meeting other resurrectionists and getting into the faction kind of stuff, or like exploring the magic on its own, or are you open to everything?
I'm pretty open in that. I think that other than wrapping up those, like, make sure my parents are okay, find out why my fiance was apparently brought back as a zombie, you know, like just little things like that she's got to tie up because she doesn't know those two things. And I think past that, it's sort of a sense of like she could go either way, I guess, is kind of where I know that's not particularly helpful, but I think that the way that those things play out might determine how how she leans ultimately. Like if it's I don't want to like throw a bunch of potentials out there, but like if her parents are being framed by the guild, she's definitely not going to become a death marshal. You know what I mean? Like if if her fiance was brought back as a zombie out of some like intended or like poorly like positive intent or something, maybe she can be swayed into necromancy. Like I think she's at really kind of a weird pinnacle of her life right now where she's just been a sharpshooter up until this point, and she could really lean either way, just like depending on what the interactions, how things resolve with her parents, how things resolve with her fiance, and like where she ends up on the other side of that. So
gotcha.
These will be conversations that we continue to have between arcs, I think. Yeah
I think so.
And I think that, like, I will say explicitly, I didn't set up Dorothy to like become a super necromancer or anything like that. It happened, a combination between Zach's machinations and me going, ooh, actually, wouldn't this be interesting? So that's how she ended up a necromancer. And so I have no like ultimate plans for her necromancy. It's just sort of a plot device at the moment.
A lot of shit that ends up happening is like, wouldn't that be cool? Let's see what happens.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't want to give away too much, but I know at one point when I was building her, you said you looked at it and you were like, "Ooh, actually, why don't you move a point from this to this?" And I went, "Okay," and I did. And it
turned out great.
It's been fun ever since.
I do like how 3 of our existences are illegal, and then Sutton's just
fucking normal. Who doesn't trust the government? I'm the only one who's allowed to exist, and I'm the one saying, "Stop talking to cops, guys! Stop talking to cops! They want you dead!"
Dorothy's like, "Actually, I might be able to help with being a death marshal or something."
I'm gonna write that down. Stop talking to cops.
So, yeah, poor Sutton is literally like 3 of you motherfuckers.
That's something that I definitely want to explore more. I feel over this last leg of things, we've done a lot of talking about and building connections with the guild. I would love to do more with the guild. I think they make sense as an obvious point of contact, either to do mercenary work with or to get more involved with them. I think would be very cool.
And if we're on an okay side of the guild, then they can't lock us up, right?
Yes, they can.
I've been informed that's not at all the case. They are
totally expendable. If Kitchen's still in charge,
investigate us if they already like us. We might seem less suspicious, but then if they find something, we're right there to get thrown in a car.
However, if it's pre-Burning Man, Kitchener's kind of shit, so we should be okay.
Excellent.
Unless Lucius finds us, in which case we're all dead.
I want to reiterate. I got a loose understanding of Malifaux. I got a loose understanding of who people
You got
are.
time.
It's
You
kind
got
of
time to do
putting
some
shit.
reading.
I ain't reading all that fucking shit. There's fucking
You got a guild book?
I got a guild book. I'm not reading fucking
Zach, if you
2
want,
editions of shit.
I'm happy to sit down and give you a quick run through the timeline.
I'm not interested in that shit. That'll stunt my ideas.
Okay,
Fair. Can we at least establish who's in charge out of the two?
I've just
Governor
dropped
No,
I've
please,
just
one of
dropped
the two of
down.
them.
I'm just gonna drop recent history from 1797 to 1907 in the chat. Don't worry about it. We're good.
Okay, Zach,
Solid.
Marlowe or Kitchener? Pick one.
Yes.
No, Zach, pick one of the two.
I haven't decided who's gonna be more interesting yet. I gotta figure that out.
I definitely, outside of the guild, I guess faction was, I would love to do more stuff with the Neverborn. I would like that to be in a little bit of time. I would like to do more stuff in Ridley and in Malifaux first, and then later on get into, because, I mean, especially for Ridley, I'd love to interact with some proper fucking weirdos and see them in all their weirdness. I think that would be really cool. I also have I've been taking some of the Neverborn pursuit stuff from my connection.
Well, I mean, yeah, but that the pursuits you can take whatever pursuit from whatever book, it doesn't matter. But Sutton and Dorothy built their characters with the Crossroads Tarot. Fucking Tess built it with the Invested Tarot. And then Danny's the only one who built it with the Spooky Tarot. So it's like yeah, we have to deal with that because it's all references, madness and bones and fucking weird shit like that. So we have to. We don't have a choice, man.
And on a character level, I mean, at some point, I know we're gonna end up in the Bayou. I would love to, again, not anytime soon. I don't think it should be soon. I think it should be a long time from now. I would like to visit my parents, and see them doing whatever it is they're doing now.
Your parents' gremlins?
No, they live in one of the points. Which point? Edge Point?
Hollow Point.
Hollow Point, which is close to the Bayou. But I assume we're gonna get out to the Bayou anyway because it would be fun. It would be fun art to go out to the Bayou, and we'll just visit them along the way. Otherwise, Sutton is very much her story is going to be. She's very. This is not at all me saying. Her story is about supporting other people's stories. She's very bossy. It's not that I don't feel like, oh, she's not a main character or anything like that. She definitely feels like, one of the protagonists of the story with everybody else. But I don't think she's not the chosen one in a way that a couple other characters are. So I don't think that there's a lot that I specifically need for her, if that makes sense.
Okay. I think a lot of Sutton's actions and opinions can really deeply affect everybody else in the party. She has like huge influence.
It's because she's a paladin in a setting where those don't exist.
I also want to see more, I don't know, just Dodie Sutton pining weirdness.
There's a conversation that might or might, it depends if we have time. It might not happen today if Zach's doing any scenes with Shiloh that will elaborate upon things related to Dodie.
No, what are you talking about? Dodie's clearly straight.
Oh my god.
Me? A
CJ.
straight character?
Oh my god, CJ.
CJ, I'm not reading this.
You could though. You could.
We're in 1902, I think.
It's not that long, Zach.
There's a quote I really enjoy.
So that we're not in the middle of the plague anymore. Does that sound good to everybody?
There's a quote that I really enjoy by a man named the 10th Doctor, and he says, time is made of wibbly wobbly timey wimey stuff. So
Okay, no, we've answered the question already. We're currently in at least 1906. Lilith is in time prison. That whole arc's gone down.
That's
Zach
right.
answered the question.
I gotta free my mom.
The governor's mansion has exploded. Sides is in charge of the MNSU. That's great.
Yeah.
So it's Marlowe rather than Kitchener.
Yeah, it's Marlowe. The Governor General is Marlowe. That solved my question. Thank you.
We can also do more workers' rights stuff. I would love to do more workers' rights with the union.
Yeah.
I think we're really well set up for
a
that.
whole arc, but at least it's,
Yeah.
So honestly, I think the more modern setting of Malifaux probably works better. It also means if Zach picks up a book and looks and goes, which characters are currently being sold?
Well, Tess,
Not necessarily to read the book, I just mean to look at the cover, Zach. Don't worry, I'll bet you. Look and go, which
Damn.
characters are here? It lets you do it.
Zach is always like, can you just give me the cliff notes? And Tess is literally offering to give you, and CJ gave you the cliff notes, so read them.
If you
I'm
start
offering to
reading
read the cliff notes
from
out to you.
if you start reading from 1904, the cool thing is, in a couple of years, in our time, in a couple of years, there are a lot of MNSU and guild like protests and stuff. And since we've got folks that work in the mines and folks that are affected by the guild one way or another, it might be eventually, it wouldn't be the first or even the second next arc, but it might be a really interesting place to go with it for a little mini arc eventually.
We got some good shit. We got some character shit. Where's my fucking general? We got some character shit. We talked about time skip. We talked about themes. We talked about what we want to see. We talked about what we want to see more and less of. All right. So I think the only thing left on my agenda is like short epilogue scenes, which we can do if you guys are down. We can do.
I didn't put this wig on for nothing.
Oh, there we go. All right, we can start a little bit.
Are we doing one scene per character?
Yeah, just one scene per character, and these are real short. They're like I'm just started talking. They're like 5 minutes, you know, kind of whatever you wanted to talk about. Maybe a little something for everybody, and maybe a little something to get it going for next time. You know.
You guys remember way back in the distant past, Zach had screenshotted a message of mine where I'd been like, "Oh, what if we did like, Ridley and Brody have a talk? I get to talk to Shiloh. Cordoni has some kind of seizure and eats somebody. I don't know. I was less specific about what Cordoni does." But just little mini scenes where we also then get to introduce our destiny steps.
Are we reading them off, or?
Yeah, Zach, do you want us to be ready with our destiny steps, or do you have a way that you'd like to?
Yeah, why don't you guys read them off? You guys read them off, and then we'll go into the scene. How does that sound?
Oh god,
no. Start with?
I like to start. I think I'll start with Deanna.
Oh shit! Why me?
Yeah, I know.
Are we reading off the whole thing or the first line? How is that working?
Read off the whole thing real fast, and then we'll just kind of we'll play around. We'll yes and a few things. I think I only have like the most structured one is gonna be CJ's, and CJ's gonna be last. Because they're just I don't know. I'm excited about CJ's.
What was that hand motion?
Yeah, fuck
CJ?
me, I guess.
that was I don't know. I was.
CJ's excited for their scene.
Excited T-Rex arms.
That's great, hon.
Alright, so I would just read out my destiny to you.
Go ahead and read out your destiny, and then we'll
a little bit closer.
Yeah, come a little bit closer.
You allow the hands to pull you down. You will run for the melancholy light. But love was left behind. The end will find him in the garden, and the noose will snap like thunder. Somebody's getting hanged. Hung? Hanged?
Hey, hunged. Anyway.
Hung, I think.
You looking at roll 20?
Oh, I am now.
Here we go. We're in the boarding house.
Mighty nice watch Shiloh has on.
Yeah, Shiloh's kind of busy. He's been serving drinks as much as possible. You know, he's the only employee here. He's
I'm gonna help him serve drinks. I'm not gonna make him. He's not a fucking dancing monkey. I'll help him out.
And he's like, thanks, Sutton. It's been rough since you left. I followed your list. I did everything to my best of my ability. He's doing this. Here you go, sir. Yeah, what? Can you take your order? Wait, one of these.
Yeah, can y'all settle down? I'm just gonna call out. I'm assuming that these are our regular miners if they're crowding out this much. Or are there a lot of more people in the bar area than normal with all the refugees coming in, or is it mostly just our regular folk?
Yeah, it'll probably be busy. There's gonna be a lot of people. Hats have come into fashion.
Hats have come into fashion?
Yeah, because you didn't see too many people wearing hats before, but there's a lot of hats, you know.
Ain't got no fucking manners. You take your hat off when you go inside. Great. Can everybody form an orderly line or a line at all? That'd be excellent. Thank you.
Yeah, and some people will listen to you, but they weren't as organized at all for Shiloh.
Okay, you take their orders. I can do it.
And after, now that things are a lot more organized, and two people working the bar divided the work up a lot, it starts to file down. People get what they want, maybe Cordoni's in the back making food, whatever. And then
what's the fucking kid's name? Callum with the gun? What's his name? Callum?
Caleb.
Caleb doesn't get a fucking drink. I don't care how often he comes up to the counter. He's 7.
Yeah. Caleb's like, oh, shoot. And he gets it and he blows bubbles in it and walks away and everything. But yeah, Shiloh's, I don't know how you did this. I don't know how you did this.
Well, it wasn't always so busy like this. There were a lot of nights where there was nobody here. You can look at some of the records. There were nights where it was a lot quieter.
I mean, yeah, we always had money rolling in. That's for sure. Especially after you came over from Edgepoint.
Yeah. Just a minute. My oven timer is going off. I gotta go back to the kitchen.
Well, Downey's getting it. Come on, Sutton. But yeah, well, cut that out, I guess.
You should leave it in.
Should be up.
Good timing. Good timing.
Good timing.
I come back out from the kitchen. I have an acorn squash for him, I guess. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah. They're in season in Malifaux. They grow.
No, I appreciate. Thanks. Thanks, I guess. I got the coop cleaned out.
Yeah. I'm real sorry about your chickens. I'm real sorry about your chicken, Sutton. It's been a lot of work, and I guess I'm finding a new appreciation for how you do things. And yeah, maybe I could have been a little more help around the house and everything, but
Fuck off. No, that's very sweet. I appreciate it. I know that you didn't do it. You wouldn't hurt something like that on purpose. I know it wasn't on purpose. It's been a rough period of time.
Yeah, especially with what just happened,
Yeah. Nothing got all the way on this side, did it? It was all.
No, we're pretty much over the plateau over here. It was all on the eastern side.
Okay, good. I'm glad to hear it. But yeah.
I got you something, I'm not allowed to go too far away from the boarding house, but the catalogs or something else. He reaches into his vest pocket, pulls out a little wad of it's wrapped in a handkerchief. It's wrapped in a handkerchief, and he kind of undoes it a little bit. It's a single white egg. Yeah, I ordered a new chicken egg. Maybe we can get things started up again. I've been keeping it warm in my pocket and everything, but I figure you would know more how to take care of it than I would.
An egg?
Well, it's expensive. It's a breeding egg, This one's not for eating.
No, I can. I'll put my hands over him and I'll take the egg. That's very sweet, Shiloh. I appreciate that very much. Who sold you this egg?
I got it through the catalog.
What catalog?
The guilds. The
guild sold you a single breeding egg?
Well, I mean, okay, let me how do I phrase this? I'm stepping out of the character for a second.
For $20. Yes, for $20
for 20. I mean, yeah. Well, how else am I supposed to? I can't exactly go into town right now. I'm under house arrest. Remember?
No, I know. I completely. You've done absolutely nothing wrong. You are golden. It's just I've never seen a single egg sold in this fashion before. But I will absolutely take care of it. And I
You can keep the handkerchief too. It's
Oh well, thank you.
And he needs a bit of a nest, I guess.
I appreciate the thought and the gesture. That's very put him in the front pocket of my overalls, I guess. That's very sweet of you, Shiloh. I've been wondering. Oh, okay. Well, I'm about to bring things down. I hope that's. Well, things have been pretty. But I've been thinking about I've been thinking about Mom and Dad a lot recently. Not any of the things that happened. They got married. When he was 22. The White Chapel. You don't remember? You weren't born yet. He was 22.
I heard the story.
Okay, good. Well, you got some seer knowledge that I don't know about. But they got married in the chapel and everything, and all their family was there, and they had a plot of land, and they built a house, and it was a great rolling green hills of Montana, and it was all very. I don't know. I've just been thinking about it a lot.
Well, you trying to get married in Montana?
No, I'm not trying to get married in. Ridley's 10 years old. And I remember when I was 10 years old and you were fucking 6 and snot-nosed and absolutely disgusting. I was just running around barefoot in the hills and not helping on the farm whatsoever, and everything was different. This was before, this is before we came over here, of course, but...
No, sky was bluer instead of green. Remember that?
Yeah. It just seems like that kind of thing isn't so much an option anymore for 10-year-olds or 22-year-olds.
To go running around?
No, I don't know. To maybe not have your arm blown off in an explosion. To get married and build a house where there aren't, massacres and... Was there ever even a minute with Esther that you thought maybe?
Esther?
Yeah.
How do you know that name, Esther?
Has this not been in the news?
I don't...
I think I would have told him what went down at this point. I don't think this would be brand new information to him.
Okay, so you would have told him, okay.
Secretive about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sutton, you met Esther. Is that the kind of woman you want to settle down with?
Her fucking gorge. She might have been a lovely... I don't know. She might have been a lovely lady.
It was... Esther was a thing that went on for too long. Yeah, I let her stay around here. Yeah, I let her, I promised her the theater, but more lucrative business options came around, and she just couldn't handle that. Yeah, she was after fame and fortune and everything, and she wanted out of the hard life. Of course, everybody wants out of the hard life. I want out of the hard life. Do you not want out of the hard life?
I would like to live in less interesting times.
Yeah, wouldn't we all? I'd like to live in times where people don't go crazy and start killing people and have big plots against the city and against me. Like, grow up and live your life. Come on.
It makes you harder, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, and if we have to bend over backwards for every child in the street, you know, we'll never stand up straight again. Pick and choose who you care about, I guess.
I just think it might be nice to sometimes have the space to have. You seen any Dodie's performances? Miss Dorothy Rose Wesson? The one that you didn't build a theater for?
No, but I read the flyers.
She's been performing here, hasn't she? Or has she not been performing since she's been back?
That's up to her, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know if she would have been, but I would say that either way, Shallow's probably not allowed to leave. So
yeah, you can't watch any of it. So unless she's performing here, but no, if she hasn't been telling me about it. But I don't imagine we're talking much anyway.
Oh,
she talks to you a lot, I guess.
She's very. I wish I met her in different times.
You know, times are what they are. Why don't you make the best of it?
I don't think that there's. I always thought that I would, you know, like. I know I'm significantly older than 22, but.
Significantly older than 22?
She's 31, I think. Something like that. She's in her early 30s.
Yeah, this is 19 or whatever. It's fine.
I just sometimes. I used to think it would be something like that. Like mom and dad.
Wow.
But I don't have that to offer to nobody, so.
You got half a boarding house, don't you? A little slice of heaven. It's not so bad.
Yeah, and it almost got infested by zombies about 2 weeks ago. Well, a little slice of heaven.
Hey, times are what they are. You know, make it fun while you can. Don't bend over backwards for nobody.
Oh, look at the little chicken egg in my pocket.
Nobody don't care about anyway.
Thank you for the egg.
Yeah. Don't.
I'm gonna put my
Make
hand
it a thing.
on top of his head. All the ruffles.
Hey, this is still merchandise. This is still merchandise here. Calm down.
Merchandising? Your head is merchandise? You think people are coming in for all of this happening?
Yeah?
Alright. Okay. Be good. I'm going outside.
And so with that, some other miners, you know, will start. Hey, we want a drink, blah blah. And yes sir. All right. And
Good,
you'll
Shiloh.
go back to the bar.
That's the only conversation I think that I'm having. I wish that I lived in a time where I could take a girl on a date and be able to give her a farm instead of a place where we're gonna get murdered by zombies.
Good wish.
This is Malifaux.
Unfortunately,
it is a dream.
Unfortunately, Seth is a normie who doesn't want to live in Malifaux.
A normie. Well, you got to make that sweet muns. Anyway.
And now I have a singular fucking chicken egg. What am I gonna do with this egg?
Sit on it.
Keep it close to your heart. I don't know, the same thing he was doing. It'll hatch, and then you'll be able to have chickens back. Jeez.
It's very cute to have one chicken.
Are they gonna reproduce like
Asexually, he thinks that they mitosis. We're gonna start the farm with what?
A breeding egg.
Bless his heart.
There's gonna be a chicken that comes out of it. You don't just fucking eat this one. Supposedly, I don't know.
This chicken will hopefully be a hen and will hopefully lay eggs.
Hopefully,
Rooster comes out and it's like, this guy is fucking useless.
hopefully somebody doesn't find it like on the counter and just like crack it open.
This is staying in my pocket forever. No, he's staying there.
All right. I think I wanted to do Danny's next.
Okay.
Are we still gonna be? Are we still gonna be here? Do I still want to be here, or do I want to do it elsewhere?
Oh, we're doing it in the boarding house.
Oh, you want to do it in the boarding house? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Well, I guess we're doing the boarding house then.
All right. I'll read my Disney steps. As the gleam of bone is a beacon, the hatred of a stranger will save you, and you will laugh as the colors flash around you. Feel the bones crack, as the augury said, and you will become borne aloft on leathered wings.
Okay. Just pasting this. That's just the ambiance that is playing right now. Okay, so
Cordoni, you will notice during Ridley's morning classes that he is very distracted. He went to the market in the morning, came back a little while, went up to his room, came down. During his lessons, he's having a hard time concentrating, which he tends not to. He really likes his lessons a lot with you. But his eyes, wander towards the window and he can't really get anything out. And especially he starts to get restless as the hour approaches where the miners normally get off work. Yes, Zach, would you like to?
No, you're fine. Danny's. I put in the chat. Danny's in charge of this one. I didn't know.
Did you have something you wanted to do? I'm sorry.
I think you're gonna lead up to what I wanted to do anyway. So just keep going.
Okay, yeah. So he's just constantly kind of looking at the door, at the window as the sun starts to go down and the hour approaches where the miners normally get off work. And yeah.
Ridley, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm just waiting for Brody.
You seem more distracted. Is everything normal?
Yeah, it's fine. I'm just having a hard time focusing. Math is hard.
Math is very hard.
Yeah.
How about we do something else?
Okay, like what?
You were good at creating explosives, much to Sutton's dismay.
Yeah, I guess I have kind of a talent for that.
How about we do some chemistry?
Okay, that sounds fun. Can we use the glasses from the bar?
I'm sure Sutton will not mind one or two going missing.
Okay. Ridley will run behind the bar and grab a few glasses.
Manning the bar, and he is powerless to stop.
Hi, Shallow. I need these. And he's gonna grab
Wait, yeah. Just I'm busy. Just give me whatever.
Cordy, do we need wine glasses or beer mugs?
Beer mug should suffice.
Okay. I'll grab them and run back.
And Codoni will get Ridley to explain. Step back. Honestly, maybe just keep them in the class until Brody's going on, so they don't tap their feet to breaking the floorboards. We'll have Ridley talk through how they create explosives, and then Codoni will kind of break down the science behind it, rather than just this go boom. Codoni will explain why it goes boom as Ridley's making an explosive in a bear book, and then they'll set off out back.
And this will keep him focused for a little more. I mean, he stops a little bit of his fretting and his restlessness, but...
Would you like to call off early today?
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Of course. I will be assigning extra homework.
Okay, that's fine. I like homework.
Good. Good day, yes?
Thank you.
Of course.
And he'll wander back into the boarding house. And yeah.
I think the other mind, everybody's kind of coming on in from their day at work and everything. And you do see Brody, and he's he's in the organized line that Sutton helped establish, waiting for his drink, waiting for his flask of beer or whatever, and he looks over to you. Hey, little man, how you doing?
Hi, do you want a drink?
I mean, I'm in line.
Okay, and Ridley will go behind the bar and just get it himself. He kind of like reaches under Shiloh and grabs it.
Hey, you gotta pay for that. Hey!
It's fine, I'll pay for it, don't worry.
You bet, I'm keeping a tab.
Brody's gonna pay for it, actually. And he'll like leave. It's like spilling over. Like, he doesn't know how to pour beer properly, so.
Lots of head, absolutely. And Brody's like, oh, thanks. Heady, just the way I like it.
Hey, I gotta talk to you.
Oh yeah, but what?
Well, I don't know. I just feel like we don't see each other as much because I'm not really at the mines no more.
Yeah, not since you got free.
Yeah. How is everything there?
Same as usual. We lost our canary boy, so we gotta send someone else to do the job.
Who mans the canary now?
Oh, Pete.
He's too big. He
can't really
even
get
run.
he can't get into the same kind of space as you can. So, nothing, no bad air, thank God. But here we are.
Yeah. Well, can we maybe talk somewhere a little more quiet?
Right. Give me a hot second, boys. I'll be back. And they're like, and you walk off, find somewhere. What, you want to go outside, or what's your plan here?
No, maybe my room.
Okay.
And he'll lead Brody up the stairs, into his room.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll close the door behind them, and he'll just stand there for a moment, like kind of staring at his bed.
Mm-hmm. So what's on your mind, Lumpy?
Why do you call me that?
What?
Did you just call me Lumpy?
I mean, yeah.
Why you call me that is because I got 2 big lumps on my head?
I mean, if you got a problem with it, I'll find something else to call you.
Did you know?
What, that you were lumpy?
No, that is pretty obvious. When we went to the mountain and we saw, what we were supposed to look like in the future. You saw what I was looking at, right? You saw mine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you know about that?
Kid, I always had my fears. I don't know. I don't know.
You don't know what?
I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what you might turn into. I don't want... I thought if you had a little bit more... Maybe if you were kept busy, maybe if you were, maybe if I could keep a closer eye on you, maybe you won't turn into that. I don't know. I've seen...
You never even wanted to look into it?
Ridley, I know, I've heard the Aethervox recordings. I know what these monsters can do.
What did you see?
Well, I've seen posters. I've heard stories. I've seen, things that could happen. And
And you never thought it'd be important to relay those stories to me?
I'm terrified of it. I don't want you to be a monster.
Don't say it. You're terrified of me.
I'm terrified of what you can become, Ridley. I don't want you to be like that. I thought maybe if we went out, maybe you wouldn't be like that, because I know the guild will fucking put a bullet in your head if they ever discover it. So yes, I'm doing what's best for you. I tried to do what's best for you. I continually try to do what's best for you.
Ignoring the fact that it's gonna happen isn't helping me, Brody. I don't know what's going on. How am I supposed to avoid becoming anything if I don't even know what the hell it is I'm becoming?
Well, why don't you go ask the guild? Why don't you go to Malifaux University? I'm sure they'll be happy to tell you. They'll be happy to dissect you and find out more about you. Do you want that? Is that what you want? Be cut open on a table?
Ridley's gonna turn around real quick. He's glaring at Brody, and he's gonna drop to his knees by his bed, and he's gonna reach under, and he's gonna pull out the crumpled body of a rooster. It looks fresh. It looks like it came. It looks like it was alive this morning, basically. The feathers, the green and orange feathers that used to be super shiny, are like crusted over with dried blood. And he's gonna take this little limp body in his hands, and he's gonna look down at it for a moment, and he's just gonna be like, I got this for Sutton this morning. They were selling it, and I thought it looked really nice. It's like this prize rooster, and it was really friendly, and it ate crumbs out of my hands, and I was feeding it all the way home. And at this point, he's just gonna throw that rooster at Brody. And then, I don't know what happened. I brought it to my room. I was gonna hide it, so it was a surprise. And the next moment, I was looking down at this thing, and it was dead. And Brody, do you catch it, or does it fall on the floor?
Yeah, he'll kind of hold on to it and everything.
And when you look down at it, you will see that the holes that are made in it look like they were made from, they're messy, from teeth, from claws. They were not nice, clean tears. I don't know what's happening. I never know what's happening, and it's your fault.
Ridley, what do you want from me? What do you want from me, Ridley? I don't know.
I want you to tell me what I am and what the fuck I'm gonna turn into. You're supposed to be the closest thing I got to a dad, and you're failing.
Ridley, I'm sorry.
If my daddy was here, he would tell me.
What, tell you that you're a giant freak? What do you want me to say?
He would tell me how to fix this.
Really, I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best to keep you out of trouble. I'm doing my best to keep you sane. I'm trying to do my best to make you not turn into that. I don't know what you want from me, dude. I'm doing my best for you.
Did you ever go out and open a book? Did you ever go out and try to find somebody that's like me?
No, because I'm busy trying to work in the goddamn mines to keep you from keep you from dying. You want to starve? You want to starve, or you want to keep buying chickens?
But I don't want to keep buying chickens or starve. I don't want to do none of that.
Tough shit, kid. This is the world we live in.
I wish you didn't have to work in the mines.
I wish I didn't have to work in the mines either. Maybe I wish I didn't have to look after a little monster, but here we are. But I'm doing my best for you.
That's what you think, huh? That I'm a little monster?
Look, I shouldn't have said that. I'm sorry, but
I think you need to leave.
Fine. We'll talk about this tomorrow. We'll talk about this tomorrow, Ridley.
Maybe. Maybe you'll be too busy working.
You know, I'm gonna go get a drink. I'm gonna go get another drink because this one went a little flat on me. And he'll leave and I'll go downstairs. And
What's he do with the roosters? He's put him back on the ground.
No, he'll take the rooster. He'll take the rooster and hide the evidence, I guess. Fucking script and a half rooster over here.
And Ridley will stand there for a moment. He'll be staring at the floorboards. He did try to scrub them clean, but there's still kind of a faint blood stain in them, and he like scratches it with the tip of his foot as he kind of just stands there full of anger. He's very, very mad, but he's also he feels guilty, but more than that, he feels angry.
Okay.
How old is Brody? I need to decide how angry I am with him. Is he like a very young man?
He's settled in how angry. He's very settled in how angry.
He's younger. He's got to be
like college age, university.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Still
early 20s. He's got to be around Dorothy's age.
How young? How old is Dorothy? How weird is Sutton being?
I don't know if I ever decided, but I feel like she's probably around like 28.
Oh, well, he's probably younger than that. He's
somewhere between like 25 to 28, so he's probably like 4 years younger-ish.
Yeah, probably like 21, 22-ish.
Yeah, some 20, 24, I guess, but yeah. Early 20s.
Too old for this behavior.
Yeah, way too old for this behavior.
Yes. For this, yeah, tell the child that they're too much work and that you wish they weren't around. Great job. Okay,
yeah.
Sorry. I understand how it happened, but it was unacceptable. In my household, we don't speak to each other like this.
Sutton can sense the tension.
Sutton sits up from like wherever she is and she's like,
he feels the urge to punch someone.
Okay. Okay. If we're done, we're done with Ridley. We'll move on to
around like that dead rooster. Also, I do appreciate that everyone is buying Sutton chickens to make her feel better.
Yeah, could only did at the beginning, and I don't know what happens to that one.
So
could only did after the last session, but
you could have had a hen and a rooster, but clearly that's not the case.
Anyway, Cordoni.
Yo, how we doing?
This is the most loosey goosey one. What do you think you'd be doing around the boarding house? You know, what kind of chores?
I thought we were doing a flashback.
We are. We'll get
there.
Okay.
So if we're doing it the same day, Cordoni would obviously be planning Ridley's lesson plan, teaching Ridley, throwing the lesson plan out the window because Ridley's not feeling it. Probably later on that night, bringing up some blood that they got for Ridley. If Ridley mentions it, Cordoni will help Ridley clean the room, like only the blood out the floor.
Where did Cordoni get the blood?
Cordoni went and probably bought an animal and killed it, drained all the blood, and then kept the meat for the meal.
Okay.
He probably regularly does that every time they have anything to do with meat in the stew or anything.
Okay. So, interesting. You're out back or in the shed or whatever, probably butchering this animal, keeping the blood, you know, hanging it up, carefully draining everything. And you see you kind of split it open and you see, you know, the broken neck, you see, you know, where it was slaughtered. You see just the open meat and everything. You're watching it drain, and then you hear outside a crow, and it caws. And you turn your head, you look at it, and you turn back, and it reminds you of something. You know, the situation, having meat cut open in front of you, having a crow caw in your ear. it brings you back, and you have a memory. And you remember kind of your first day. I'm gonna turn out this music real fast because I don't like it anymore.
Go over my fate steps while you get things ready.
Oh yeah, do that, absolutely.
Wonderful. So, when the crow notices you at the first, you will take heed of the ancient lessons, and you will surrender to the Inferno's embrace. The one you trust will reveal hands stained with blood, and your final day will be that of song.
Yeah, we're gonna play that. Put up a new song. We're good. Yeah, we're over here now. So you remember your old digs, where you were born. Would you like to describe that at all?
Yeah. So it was an attic filled with workbenches and tools. There were guns and bullets and gears, knives, blacksmithing hammers and anvil, furnace lit slightly in the distance. You could see the light from upstairs. And Cordoni on a bench. Not fully built at the time. The arm's kind of still off. They're tinkering away on their own arm, fixing it. It's the 20-odd Earth time they've done this. 20-odd Earth time they've been resurrected. They hear noises downstairs of Lawrence running the shop. They hear him going out. So Cordoni goes downstairs to take over.
Mm-hmm.
Cordoni works the till for a little while, sells guns, swords, a few small machines, mechanical assistance. But at the end of that night, Cordoni is deconstructed again and rebuilt. See if it works better this time. See if they have memories. Of course, once more they don't. And Cordoni has a moment where his back's turned. In this workshop filled with heavy machines and tools. It's really easy to have a hammer swing through someone. And then to have the furnace stay on overnight and burn through the entire store. As Cordoni stands watching the shop burn down, she looks at a locket of a family. Throws it back into the fire. And leaves to find a mercenary who she knew at the shop. Informing that mercenary that he is about to make an awful lot of money from finding a lost android they can sell. Sell to the guild, keep all the money for themselves. After all, lost robotics go for quite a hefty amount. And they sell themselves into the market. A week later be picked up by Shiloh. Then they'll remember the shed for the first time. And they're going to come back into reality.
Yeah, that's essentially what I wanted to happen. Yeah. And you, all those kind of flash through your eyes. You hear his scream. You hear the wet thud of the hammer as you slapped it against his face, the back of his head. You can remember the aroma. You know, Cordoni can't really smell, doesn't have a nose, but that
they remember it.
Yeah, it's familiar.
They hear the taste, and they hear the ribs crack of the animal as they pull it apart.
Just so familiar.
Everything feels like a fire in the storm for a moment. That moment of warmth. And they remember the silhouette of 3 in the locket.
A little bit
I don't remember much more beyond that, but I remember that.
That important bit. That thing that sticks with you.
Yeah. French. Maybe Russian. Can't remember.
Okay.
They'll finish off draining the blood, bring it up to Ridley.
Okay.
Yeah. Cody's good.
Cardoni's good. Okay, that's all you want to have happen. All right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. I only pause that and switch back to the other one. And Cordoni slowly comes back to reality and offers Ridley the blood, and Ridley's probably upset after what just happened and everything.
Yeah, probably will notice that, offer to stay with Ridley and help him clean the floorboards.
I think that Ridley would try to hide it, actually.
That's fair. Hide the upset or hide the floorboards?
Both, but yeah. But yeah, especially the floorboards.
Yeah. We'll offer you your blood. See how you're doing.
Thanks,
Don't
Cordoni.
cry if you're not going to say anything.
I think I'm gonna stay in tonight.
That's quite alright. I think I need to be cleaning myself. So I'll be busy. Should you need me, I'll be outside.
Okay.
Okay. In that.
Does Ridley notice anything change?
Oh yeah, Cordoni's not clean the blood off the face.
Okay. Is that unusual for
Yeah,
Cordoni?
Cordoni is immaculate constantly. Cordoni has, despite being porcelain, usually has like painted makeup on.
Okay, interesting. I
Cordoni
think
is covered in
okay.
blood.
I
They've
think
not noticed they're covered in blood, but they are.
okay, in that case I do think that Ridley would reach up with his sleeve and try to wipe it off for them.
Oh,
You might
yeah.
wanna I can't get all of it, but
My apologies, I was running late today. Time got away from me.
are you okay?
Of course. The boarding house seems to be in good order. Just a little bit more work than I was originally planning.
All right.
Thank you for asking, though.
Yeah, I can ask more often if you want.
As long as you tell me when you're not doing good as well, yeah?
Yeah, sure. Uh-huh. Good night. And he's gonna close the door real quick.
Cody nods and then goes somewhere to clean themselves. Kind of realizing.
Okay. Awesome. If that's everything. Okay. All right. Then I think we're going to move on to Ms. Dorothy Rose West's Destiny Steps.
All right. My destiny steps are: after you don the crimson silks, you will fall from grace. But love was left behind. The reflection in the water shows the truth, and you will be maimed. Just normal stuff.
You will be maimed. Okay.
Maimed. Yeah.
Interesting.
At least you get to live.
It's so pretty, though.
Oh shit! I didn't even realize that. Okay. Interesting. So, it's about. It's the morning. It's a fucking Tuesday ass morning. People are busy with the miners are waking up, ready to do their shifts. You know, Sutton's out back doing something or other. Ridley's Cordoni and Ridley probably having their lesson or whatever, doing something else. Shiloh's behind the bar,
building a new coop.
Yeah, very
Oh.
busy.
Construction.
Very busy.
Very small. It's for one chicken.
And there's some expansion possibilities.
We'll get you more
Via
chickens.
mitosis or whatever. That's not quite right. Anyway.
But yeah, you know, people are kind of doing their thing. Shiloh's behind the bar, and then you hear knock at the door. Post for the Blackbird boarding house. You hear that as, you know, kind of a shout from the outside. Knock on the door. Post for the Blackbird boarding house. And Shiloh in the back, he's like, "Hey, Dorothy, I'm kind of busy behind here. Can you think you can get that one real fast?"
Absolutely no problem. And just kind of she's thanking her own senses that given the time she's just come down from getting changed. Like up until this point she was in that nice house coat she always wears, and she's now wearing real clothes. So she's like, all right, yeah, absolutely, no problem, Shallow. And she goes and opens the door.
And you see the postman. He's got kind of red cap with the Ridley City Council logo on it. He's got big full thing of letters and his back.
Suspicious. I'm joking.
And he's like, mighty kind of you, man, open the door. He's like, pulls out, and we have big stack of letters for the Blackbird boarding house. It should all be there. And thank you for the Ridley Town Council. Always supports. Appreciate your business.
Thank you kindly.
Pleasantries, and he's off real fast.
Pleasantries to you too as well.
and you start sorting, looking through the letters, looking through.
I sit down at the bar as no one's quite there yet, and I start doing the Shallow, certain.
Yeah.
Someone's staying here. Shallow. So just.
And there's a lot of bills. There's a lot of things addressed there, but there's one addressed to you with a postmark from Virginia.
All right. Gonna hop that open.
So it's from Virginia. It came through the breach on its way to find you, addressed to Dorothy Rose Wesson at the Blackbird boarding house. And it's going to say, Dear Dorothy Rose, your mother and I are worried sick about you. Going off without telling anyone is not the way we raised you. It cost a fortune to find you and make sure you were safe. We spent a good deal more on a ticket through the breach. No amount of money is too much to make sure our little girl's safe, especially with murderers prowling around like the ones that killed poor Carlton. We're going to come see you soon. Love, Mom, Pa Wesson.
Dorothy takes a moment, because first she's like, and then she's like, wait a minute. That means they're okay. Like that's the second bit. The first beat is like, oh God. The second beat is, wait, they're okay. So she's like, okay. All right. Okay. Wait. Okay. And just starts kind of thinking about everything. It's like, okay. And if they're... She's got... Okay. Oh, no. I hope they're not... Oh, okay. I gotta find... Is Marshall Bill still in town?
No, I think Marshall Bill has left at this point. He's been gone. He left shortly after. There's no resurrections activity, so he didn't have any reason to stay.
Okay.
But
do I know if they're wanted, or if they were just, or if Dorothy was just wanted in conjunction with this string of like.
I would say,
and we also think your parents are not. You know what I mean? Like what?
Yeah, I don't think you would know that information. You have because it's like news from Earthside, isn't that often. You don't get news. The Post comes maybe once a week, and they spend a lot of money to get a letter to you.
Yeah.
Because you didn't tell where they were going.
Yeah. My bad. Yeah. I think a bunch of different worries go through at once. One being, I hope they're not walking into a trap. But also maybe there's some misinformation here, and there's no big anti-resurrectionist presence here in Ridley, and maybe they'll be fine. And it's just sort of like this snowball.
Yeah,
so she's sitting there for a good probably 5 minutes staring at this thing, just process.
There's gonna be another knock at the door. Post from the what do you say? Post from the Blackboard boarding house. The same thing.
Yeah. She goes back to the door. Did you forget something?
I beg your pardon, ma'am. I absolutely did. You know, this one's from you gotta keep guild correspondence in a special compartment. Pulls it out. And there is one letter. It's a letter all in red. The envelope is red. And addressed to the Blackbird boarding house, addressed to you.
Son of a gun. Okay.
It has the logo. It has the logo of the Death Marshal Special Division on it.
Okay. Just say since it's no worries, really. Thank you very much. Thank you kindly. Any other letters in there?
Not that I know of, but say, if you don't mind me asking, aren't you that sharpshooter back in Malifaux City?
Well, I'm not in Malifaux City anymore, but you got the sharpshooter part right.
Yeah, I think I saw the show last time I was down there.
I was gonna do a show here, but it didn't quite pan out, so I'm just taking an extended holiday. I tend to actually really like Ridley.
Well, if it does pan out, I'll be happy to buy a ticket, Miss Wesson, right?
Yeah, that's right, Miss Wesson. It's a pleasure to meet you, Postman.
Postman Philip.
Postman Philip.
Postman Philip. And you
have a lovely day now.
You too, ma'am. Plenty of letters to deliver now. I'll be on my way. And he's coming down the street.
Enjoy. Just closes the door and is like,
pleasantries, ma'am.
Pleasantries to you as well. and yeah, her face just immediately, like, as soon as she's closed it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Absolutely.
And she pops that letter open, like just standing by the door. She doesn't even wait. She's tucked the other one inside her jacket, and she just pops this red letter open.
Absolutely. You open this letter, and there's two documents inside. The first one is a carbon copy deal. You know, it's like the yellow carbon copy. Mm-hmm. So they have that, and it says, from the Office of the Jury, case file number 14322, Dorothy Rose Wesson. Parents suspected of crimes of necromancy in the American territories. Guild lacks jurisdiction to arrest and prosecute. Marshal Hutch sent to investigate familial ties. Hutch reports no necromantic abilities, but marksmanship rivaling the Ortegas. Parents still heavily suspected of necromancy. And that it ends there. The second document is an application for the it's an application for the Death Marshals signed by the jury.
Son of a gun. All right. Well, cool. Great. Absolutely wonderful. And just like holds it all back up and stuffs it in her jacket. And she's like, and so just to be clear, out of character, this application is basically them inviting her to apply.
What do you think?
I mean, if it's an application that's signed by the jury. Yeah.
It's kind of like signed and sealed, essentially.
Is it an invitation or is it a suggestion?
It's a guild suggestion.
Right, which, you know, she understands, but also they haven't conscripted her yet. It's just wonderful, great, absolutely fine. Just like shoves it in her jacket with the rest. All right. Okay. And just walks up to the bar. Shallow?
Yeah, Dorothy. What? Can I answer anything?
No. Actually, no. No, not right now. I just want to let you know, I might need to reserve a room, for a few days for my parents. Might be coming into town.
Sure. The more the merrier, as I always say. More drinks to make. Sure.
Yeah. Great. Good. Thank you. Okay. I'm just gonna pop out for a minute.
Yeah, take your time. It's not like
I don't know when they'll be here. I just got the letter. And you know how slow post is coming from the other side, so all right.
From the other side, make sure to see if there's any churches available for sale over there, and we'll get that going.
Not that other side. Oh, Earth. Yeah, I hope they're not coming from the other side. That's a whole load of problems I don't need to deal with right now. Anyway, yeah, thank you. Great. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, thanks. Just gonna go, like, wherever the sort of, like, I'm sure there's a few, like, back outsides of the boarding house that are just sort of, like, where things get sorted. Yeah.
A back door.
We've got essentially a back pasture because we grow a lot of our own vegetables. You pass me working on my coop. A nod, but I don't bother you if you look like you are on your way.
Oh yeah, she's just looking for somewhere quiet.
Is there any slaughterhouse?
You pass by me working on my coop with an egg in my pocket. You pass by Cordoni, but she doesn't make eye contact with you. Her face is covered in blood, and she's.
Oh yeah, everything is very normal here at the Blackboard Board now.
Upstairs,
just a standard Wednesday.
It would be better if I wasn't bored. You know what? Maybe it would be.
And Dorothy's just like, nope.
Yeah, you pass Brody with tears down his face and everything.
Hi, Brody keeps walking. Everything's just very normal here. Okay, yeah. So she's gonna, realistically, probably just go out back of a shed and just sit down. Just have a tiny panic attack. Just a little bit of a panic attack.
Absolutely, panic all you want. It'd be great.
I mean, I don't know if there's anything else for her to do at this point. Breathe really hard and maybe cry.
The general group consensus, I say.
Yeah, that seems to be the general thing going around. After she's got her self together a little bit more, she'll stand up, wipe her eyes. Okay. Well, he's gonna probably go look for Sutton because she's like, who the fuck do I tell about this? Not gonna go like, hey Ridley, guess what? Ridley's gonna be like, yeah, really?
That's cool.
Is that something we want to do now, or is that the prologue to the next little adventure, Mr. GM?
I mean, I have no adventure written right now, but if you want to,
Well, I would say if you talk to Sutton about it, she's gonna want to do something about it right now, which sounds outside of the scope of what we're currently doing.
So I think
do we gotta go down to Malifaux? What do we need? What can help in this situation?
But yeah, I think we'll call it there. Maybe we'll talk about where we want to progress from here and everything. And yeah, we had some fun. We had a few little mini scenes, and
Dorothy has
I wanted to do
a few immediate things in the upcoming episode or whatnot, because she's gonna want to wait around for her parents, make sure they're okay. She's gonna want to talk to somebody she trusts at the guild, which is probably Hutch.
Well, because my concern is if they're coming in, they sent a letter and now they're coming in on the train. You have to go through Malifaux to get up here.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to be able to get up here if they're wanted by.
It's true.
Yeah.
Ooh, and I think maybe Sutton can point that out to Dorothy when they have that conversation. And I think that might be part of our next little adventure, is trying to keep them from jail. So that's great. Love that. What two things is Dorothy worried about? Her fiance and her parents. All right, well, one of them might go to jail, and the other one is the reason you're being conscripted into the guild. Congratulations.
Welcome. Malifaux is fun.
So excited.
Also, I am so complimented on Dorothy's behalf. marksmanship on par with the Ortegas.
That is a line.
Yeah, Mr. Marshall Bill is all like, and her marksmanship is the flower, right? Her marksmanship is incredible.
It will put Perdita to shame. Perdita's in the guild office, reads that out and goes, fuck you!
sounds like Perdita, yeah. Maybe they can be friends yet. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
But no, I love that. And I think my favorite thing about that is that the jury was like, yeah, good marksmanship, right? And absolutely no necromantic powers. Death Marshal.
In all fairness, one of the requirements to be a Death Marshal is either be a necromancer or survive necromancy.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but I mean, but that's what I'm saying, is he's like,
Yeah.
no, she doesn't have any necromantic powers. She's just really good at shooting. They're like, yeah, absolutely. So Death Marshals.
Hey, the jury got to you first. You want to fucking, shovel shit at Latigo? You don't want to do that.
No, I don't. I'm not complaining. I'm just
It's the
saying.
better division to be a part of. You get to be a superhero instead of the shit shifter for Perdita.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying somebody on that jury had opinions. Oh, thank you, Zach. That was terrifying.
That's why I was excited for yours the most,
Yeah. Well, has everyone seen the shit-eating grin on the jury's mini?
Yeah.
She is like the most shit-eating smile constantly.
I love the jury.
She's great.
The best one. But yeah, that was that. I think we've had a wonderful time. We'll edit this and put it however which way we want, and the audience will love it. That's a threat. So I guess we'll see you guys next time, and it will be amazing. And yeah.
This is just a prelude. I'll shed real tears next time.
We'll all cry together.
Thank you.